Welcome to English Story 2 Day. Don't forget like and subscribe.
My name is Lily. I am 25 years old now. But this story starts when I was only 7 years old. I used to live in a small town with my parents. My father's name was Ray, and my mother's name was Sarah. We didn't have much money, but we were happy. Every evening, Mama would braid my hair. Daddy would bring sweets on Fridays. We would laugh, sing, and tell stories. I was the only child. They called me their little butterfly. One day, everything changed. It was a rainy morning. I wore my red raincoat and waited for Daddy to drop me at school. But he didn't come. My uncle arrived instead. He looked serious. His eyes were red. He held my hand tightly and said, "Lily, come with me." I didn't understand. I asked, "Where's Daddy? Where's Mama?" He didn't answer. We went to the hospital. I saw many people crying. Then I saw my grandmother. She hugged me tightly. Then I saw my parents both lying still on the hospital bed. They had been in a car accident. They were gone. I didn't cry right away. I didn't speak. I just looked around, waiting for someone to say, "It's a mistake." But no one did. That night, I sat in a small corner of my grandmother's house. It was dark. It was quiet. The world felt empty. I was all alone. After that, my grandmother took care of me. She was kind, but old and weak. She had to work every day. She said, "Lily, go play in the neighborhood garden. There's an old couple there. They're kind." And that's how I met Nora and Edward. They lived in a small house with a lovely garden full of roses and sunflowers. Nora had a gentle face. Edward sat in a chair and smiled at me. Nora said, "You can play here any time, dear." From that day, I came every afternoon. I painted stones. I picked flowers. I told silly stories. Nora made snacks. Edward clapped for my songs. They became my second family. After some time, my grandmother became sick. One evening, she said to Nora, "If anything happens to me, please don't leave Lily alone." That same winter, my grandmother passed away too. I was 8 years old. No parents, no grandparents. But Nora held my hand and said, "You're not alone. We're here." From then on, I lived with Nora and Edward. I called them Grandma and Grandpa. They never tried to replace my parents. But they gave me love, food, stories, warmth, and hope. Nora woke me up every morning with a soft kiss on the head. Edward taught me poems and small songs with his shaky voice. They both became my whole world. As I grew older, I helped Nora in the kitchen. I helped Edward walk slowly around the garden. I did my homework near his chair. When I got good grades, they cried happy tears. When I fell sick, Nora stayed awake all night with wet cloths and warm soup. At 15, I won a prize for writing. I wrote about them. The title was, "Love is not always blood. Sometimes it's kindness." At 18, I started working in the town library. I loved books like Edward once did. Nora smiled proudly. Just like us, she said. That's where I met Ethan. He was 22, quiet, respectful. He always sat in the corner and read old books. One day, he asked, "Do you believe in forever?" I smiled and said, "I already have forever. They're waiting for me at home." He wanted to meet Nora and Edward. He brought flowers. Nora liked him right away. Edward shook his hand and said, "Take care of her." Ethan did. We got married in a small ceremony, just like Nora and Edward did years ago. Not many guests. Just laughter, candles, soft music, and the two people who raised me sitting right in front, smiling through their tears. After marriage, people expected us to move out. But I said, "No, I will never leave them." Ethan agreed. He said, "This house is full of love. Why would we leave that?" So we stayed. We added a small room upstairs. We painted it yellow. It became our home inside their home. Now I am 25. Ethan works as a teacher. I work part-time and take care of Nora and Edward. Edward is very old now. He can't walk much. He barely speaks. But when I hold his hand, he squeezes mine gently. Nora moves slower. Her hands shake when she pours tea. I help her cook. I wash her hair. I rub her feet every night. She says, "Lily, you saved my life." But I say, "No, Grandma, you saved mine first." One evening, Nora looked at me and said, "You know, you're the daughter I never had. You came from sadness, but you brought light into our lives." That night I sat by her bed for a long time. I held her hand just like she held mine when I was 8 years old. Ethan loves them too. He reads books to Edward. He buys Nora's favorite tea. He fixes things around the house. Every Friday, we sit together on the porch and drink tea like one big family. We don't have a baby yet, but we have each other. We have love. We have memories. We have roots. Sometimes I think about my parents. I still miss them. I still cry on their birthdays. But I know they would be happy knowing I was never left alone. Because one woman with a kind heart and one man with soft poems gave me everything I lost and more. Family is not always who you are born to. Sometimes family is who stays, who holds your hand, who listens. And sometimes the people who raise you after your darkest days become your forever. If this story touched your heart, feel free to like, comment, and share.